Good morning. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'd say guys and girls, but only guys watch this shit. Right, so breakfast, usual on a training day. We've got us eggs, basically egg whites, one egg, bit of chicken. What I've actually done is today, well, not today, this past week, I've actually reduced my seasonings with salt in, just so that it's just a bit easier to manipulate as we get closer to the show and we start to taper water down. Everything needs to be on point. So what I've used to season it today is sauces, which I measure, a bit of lighter than light mayo, a little bit of ketchup, and the best Miranda sauces, Miranda's, one of them anyway. Yeah, and like I said, some turmeric. And then what else we've got? We've got cream of rice. Bob boy making cream of rice now. We've got cream of rice. Today what I've gone for the chocolate orange Gashmark 10 cream of rice, which is bad boy. What I actually do is I make that, I put some blueberries in it, I mix the blueberries in, I put that in the fridge to set, and then afterwards I'll put on some raspberries and some cinnamon on top. And then to help that go down, we've got my black decaf coffee and we've got my Gashmark 10 lemony AAs. So yeah, that's meal one for you guys. I'm going to try and figure out how to put my macros up on the screen. I'm sure it's not too hard. But yeah, my macros for the day. At the moment, I haven't worked out exactly what I'm having, but I'm guessing, so this is the lowest food's been at the moment, and I'm guessing macros are around 300 protein, 400 carbs, and I would say about 40 fats. So what does that work out at? That works out at about 7,500. Probably between 3,000 and 3,500 calories a day. Yeah, it doesn't need to be super low. Food never needs to be super low. It just needs to be enough to put you in a deficit for things to be moving in the right direction. Yeah, the way to get peeled, the best way to get peeled, whether you're doing a show, whether you just want to get in shape, the more disciplined you are year round with your macros, and the more you keep to your structure, the easier it is to get in shape. And what I do find genuinely is the guys that are more disciplined year round and stick close to the macros in terms of like no extremes, no like binges, no massive cheat days, the closer you can keep to that middle point where you sort of need to be, then the less, when it comes to actually getting in shape, you don't need to drop your food as low, you don't need to do no extreme crazy shit. But yeah, like I said, at the moment as well, we do like a step count, aiming for 12 to 15k a day. I know I've mentioned it before, but I say steps, but to me it's cardio, man. People hate on steps, say it's gay and that. I used to be one of them, but obviously it does get you in shape. And ultimately, when I actually work it out, I am doing an hour and a half of walking a day on a treadmill. So call it steps, call it cardio, either way it takes up your time. So to me it's like an hour and a half cardio a day. It's an hour in the morning, I do 10 minutes pre-workout when I'm getting warmed up, and then on an evening I either go for a 30-minute walk or I do 30 minutes on my walk pad. But yeah, that's meal one for you guys. And yeah, I'm going to eat this and I will see you guys in the car on the way to the gym. Right. So, turns out I was wrong. Girls do watch the channel. A couple of my female clients messaged me this morning when they checked in, saying that they've been watching it, saying, do not dare post my my transformation or my progress pictures on YouTube. But yeah, they know I won't do that, and they know I'd only do it if I ask for permission first. They know what the crack is. They're only messing around. But yeah, girls watch the channel. How surprising. But yeah, to continue what I was saying earlier about losing body fat on high food. The way I see it is the more food you can eat and still lose body fat, the better. And I'm sure that's obviously what everybody wants to do. Like I said, now I'm pretty much stage ready, and the lowest my carbs have gone on training days is 400 grams a day. But again, like I said, it's due to like a year-round discipline thing, that and the closer you do stick to your macros year-round, the easier it is to lose body fat, and the less extreme you need to be when it does come to dieting and pulling the fat off. But yeah, so the way I create diets, and the thing that I try and emphasize the most is structure. And obviously finding a structure that the client enjoys, that you enjoy, that's paramount for making progress, really. But yeah, obviously the main thing is, first you need to know your macros. So what I like to do is between 1 and 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So say that somebody's 200 pounds lean, the lowest I'd ever go on protein with them would be 1 gram per pound of body weight. So the lowest I'd go with protein would be 200 grams. The highest would be 300 grams. That'd be more feel like you're assisted. So somebody taking gear. And as well, the more carbs you do, the more carbs you do have, the less protein you actually need. But I'd never go below 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, really. Yeah, and then fats. It's obviously person dependent, but I like to go, say 50 grams of fat a day. Depending who it is, depending how fat they are, depending on what the digestion's like. So somebody who's really lean, trying to grow, you give them 40-50 grams of fats a day. And even if no matter how much carbs they're having, things just happen too fast. So generally, I increase that a little bit. The leaner the person is, just to help slow things down, just help things stick a little bit. And again, you've got to consider, like females, I like to go a little bit higher on fats. It's never a good idea to go too low fats with females, just for like a hormone standpoint. And most people really, like, the lowest I'd ever go would be like 30 grams. Even with somebody assisted, I'd never like to go below 30 grams of fat a day. And then the rest of the calories, yeah, I'd like to make up with carbs, really. Carbs, when body composition is your goal, basically losing fat without losing muscle, carbs are king. Whether you're wanting to lose body fat, gain muscle, carbs are going to be your primary source of energy, and that's what you want to. That's what wants to be your primary source of energy. So yeah, so aim for a nice amount. Say that you just guessed it and went for like 250. Follow them macros for a week, depending on what your goals are. If you lose weight, then continue. If you're losing weight too fast, so at first you can lose a few pounds a week depending on how fat you are. Body fat's high, 2 or 3 pounds a week might be what you're wanting to lose consistently for the first few months. But then when body fat starts getting a bit lower, a pound, half a pound a week, as long as you're happy with that, you've just got to work out sort of like where you want to be. And everybody, especially guys, One thing I notice what guys do a lot is they'll say, oh, so I'll get a guy who's like 100 kg, 120 kg. I'll get a guy, yes, I'll get a guy who's like 100 kg and very fat, and they'll say to me, I don't want to lose any weight, but I want to be peeled. And it's like, right, okay. And usually to get peeled, they have to lose 10, 20 kg, depending on who it is and depending on how fat they are. In the same breath, I get guys that'll be 100 kg and fat and be like, right, I want to grow muscle. But because they're so fat, it's the insulin sensitivity is poor, so they don't really respond well to food or training. And what you find with some guys is like that, if they're just fat, if you try and push their food, they're just going to get fatter. They're going to struggle to put on muscle and just get fatter. So I've mentioned it before, like I like an initial period just to, like, with people who are fat, get that fat, especially if they're wanting to gain muscle, if that's their main goal and they are fat. Use an initial period, sometimes it can be up to 6 months, get that fat off, get them in a position where they don't need to be cutting, they don't need to be in a deficit. Get them out, get that through, get it over and done with, and then you can focus on staying lean and growing. And again, the less aggressive you are with pushing up food, pushing down food, the easier it all becomes. And ultimately, it's just all down to consistency. But yeah, then once you've got your macros, structure is the most important thing, man. This is what helps stick to your plan year round. Like I said, cheat meal here and there, no problem. But again, the closer you can stick to your macros, if you're having off-plan meals, if you're having cheat meals, the better, and the better progress will be in the long run. The more muscle you'll grow in the long run, the leaner you'll stay in the long run, the easier you'll find it to burn fat when it comes time to burn fat. But yeah, and unless you're super fat, there's no reason why you should be you don't really want to be in like some people live in a deficit, like year round in a deficit, trying to lose weight, but you just want to get the job done. Like I said, find out what your macros are, stick to your macros, get the job done, and then get out of that deficit one, because it's not good for your body long term. But yeah, structure is the most important thing, man. So like when I say structure, what I mean is, say that you have 4 to 6 meals a day. 4 can be like, 4 is a little low for somebody who I'd say was a bodybuilder, and obviously the goal is to add muscle and lose body fat. But yeah, 4 to 6 meals a day. Key, like, main sources of protein that I have in my diet, I'll have whey, eggs, Greek yogurt's a good one, 0% fat Greek yogurt if my appetite's high and I need to sort of like bulk up my meals. Chicken breast, that is. I have beef every now and again in the off season. I just find it, like, when I'm in prep, I just find it easy to make chicken, and like literally I'll have chicken just a couple of meals a day. But at the moment, whey protein is my main source of protein. It's the most bioavailable, easy to digest for your body source of protein that there is. People used to hate on it, say like want real food, but whey protein, especially isolate, is king. I use Gasmark 10 whey. It's like a blend, but what I generally find is as long as it's at least 80 grams of protein per 100 grams, usually it's good quality, it digests well, and it does the job. So then once you find your structure with your proteins, like what you're gonna have for breakfast, your pre-workout meal, your post-workout meal, and before bed, they are, in my opinion, your most important 4 meals. And then it's just fitting in other things in between to sort of like fill the gaps. But yeah, and then what I like is for my breakfast, I'll either like oats. What do I do with clients? I either have like oats, cream of rice. This is if they're having carbs in the breakfast, because some people don't like to have carbs, but it's one of them. So oats, cream of rice, even rice sometimes, Sourdough bread's a really good one. Bagels. I find that bagels and sourdough bread are especially good when food's high, and cause it's just one of those. Bagels are just so easy to eat, man, and so is sourdough bread. And I find that bagels can sit a bit heavy sometimes, but sourdough bread digests really good. When food's low, you can sort of like bulk up. You can use like cream of rice and oats to make the meal a bit more like voluminous. What's going on here? Yeah, but yeah, and then pre-workout meal, same again. I like to have cream of rice, whey, and then I like to have some fruit. So either like pineapple or banana always sits good for me. Plenty of salt around training time, super important. For many reasons. Obviously helps your hydration, helps your blood flow, nutrient transportation. Yeah, and then intra, I've always liked to shake when I train intra. Whenever I've worked with a coach, I know a lot of old school guys just have water, but I've always felt best when I train if I've got a little bit of intra-workout carbs, usually from cyclic dextrin, and I usually have a bit of electrolytes, and I'll have 20 to 25 grams EAAs. I won't say it's necessary, but I do find it makes a difference. And then also another thing, creatine. 10, 20, 25 grams creatine a day now. Studies are showing that not only is it beneficial for your muscles, but also for your brain now. And it's even saying in sort of like older people it's good for you. Like creatine, I think, is one of the most researched supplements at the moment, and lately it's kind of there's data's been showing that sort of like the more you have, the better. Obviously you don't need more than like 20-25 grams a day, but there is a lot of cognitive benefits, especially in older people, and especially for, I think it was menopausal women. But yeah, super beneficial. And then post-workout meal, I like it nice and simple. I like something that I can eat easy. If you notice, I like having my meals on the way to the gym and the way home from the gym, just so that it's there, ready. Cream of rice. The reason why I have cream of rice instead of oats, it just digests so good. Rice is sort of like, rice-based foods are your top tier carbohydrates in terms of digestion. It's very, very rare that you'll have problems with your digestion if you're having sort of like white rice, sushi rice, cream of rice. Yeah, digest good, no bloat. So pre-workout, post-workout, pretty much the same. Post-workout, I'll just think I'd include some like berries. I won't use a banana in my post-workout. So yeah, post-workout just berries. Pre-workout, I'll include banana or pineapple. But yeah, post-workout, I'll add berries to it, and whey. Yeah, they're sort of like my heaviest carb meals generally are pre-workout, post-workout, meal one. And then also, so since I've been working with Cuba, one thing what we've done since we started, and I've done it all the way through prep now, is last meal is also heavy in carbs. So we do like 100, I think at the moment I'm doing 90 grams of cream of rice. That's the lowest it's gone in the last meal. And what that does is it helps me. So I find that it just helps me sleep so much better, man. And obviously when your food's low, it gives you something to look forward to at the end of the day. So like before my last meal before bed, I'm literally having whey, cream of rice, or sometimes I'll have oats, and in that I'm having almond butter or some dark chocolate, and some berries. And yeah, it's like a little treat on a night. And lately I've bought a waffle maker, and I've figured out how to make bad boy waffles. So yeah, if you want to know the recipe and how to do that, just hit me up and I'll just tell you how it's. Well, I'm looking forward to them tonight. Yeah, and then yeah, like I said, structuring your diet nice and simple. And then like what I do with my clients is I give them, and especially when I'm in the off season, flexibility is so important with your meals. So like if you wanna like, obviously repetition is important, so keeping that structure every day, but I like to be able to swap carb sources in and out. If one day I don't fancy cream of rice, I'll have oats instead. For one of my chicken meals, if one day I don't fancy rice, I'll have potato instead, or I might have like bread, or wraps. Or if I'm eating out, what I'll even do is I'll sort of like work out, I'll over guesstimate like what's going to be like the meal that I'm eating out, and I'll just make sure that I pull those calories, those macros from my plan, and that's what I do with clients as well. And I just find it works well. Yeah, but like I said, like obviously your protein is your protein is something that you do want to keep the same, and I know a lot of people that they'll just focus on the protein and the calories, which is good, but I tell you what, that's a lot better than just focusing on your calories, because if you just focus on calories and you don't think about how much protein you're having, you will, like, then you want to lose fat, you will lose weight. Some of it will be fat, but a lot of it will be muscle. So yeah, that's one thing that you've got to be careful doing, is making sure you're eating enough protein, because if you just focus on your calories, what'll happen is, you're trying to lose weight, and you do lose weight, you will lose weight, but you will just be a smaller version of yourself. Whereas with bodybuilding, that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to hold on to as much muscle as possible and just lose fat and nothing else. Yeah. And as well, obviously, like a nice little output, like 10,000 steps a day, or if you don't like doing steps, like I said, I bought a WAP, had to do my steps. Bike, any sort of output really, but ideally it's something that you can be consistent with every day, and then do your plan, stick to it for a week or two, see what sort of direction you're going in. If you're trying to lose fat, you're going to be losing at least like half a pound a week. If you're trying to gain muscle, that's a little bit different. You want to be, because you've got to be consistent, and you've got to be careful, because you can, if you eat shit, your weight is just going to climb and climb. You do want your weight to be going up, but I'd say half a pound a week max. Yeah, but the main priority when you're trying to add muscle and trying to grow is your performance. The performance needs to be progressive. So that means that you need to be getting stronger, or you need to be doing more reps. Maybe not every week, but every month things need to be moving in that direction. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough waffle from me today. I've got back and biceps today. I'm gonna eat my pre-workout meal, enjoy my coffee, and I'll see you guys in the gym. Right. First exercise, pullovers. This Nautilus pullover, bad boy. Different ways you can do pullovers, obviously. Dumbbell. You can do it on a cable, but this Nautilus pullover is the one, man. Yeah, love starting on this for back. It's something that we can really fucking, like, really target, isolate, smash the lats with. Don't have to worry about using biceps or anything else. You can really just isolate the lats. Right, first set. 2 sets, 8 to 12 on the trailer. Let's go. Perfect. A little bit lighter, same again. So like I said, a little bit lighter for this set. Off season, when food's high, when recovery's good, more times often than not, I can do the second working set on the same weight, but under 2 weeks out. We are, what we're 11, 12 days out today. I'm just not recovering for that second set. So I drop the weight, get the reps. Perfect. Definitely could have got another. That's a smoke already, man. Pull down. I don't even need to explain why I'm doing this one. You've seen Dorian Yates. You watch Blood and Guts. You know what Dorian Yates does. That's all that needs to be said. Right. 2 sets, 8 to 12. Let's get it. A little bit lighter, same again. That's it on fire. You know I mean business when the oxygen straps come out. Oh, that's one. Right, so for this one, Cube actually programmed in an extreme, a prime extreme row, which is pretty much similar sort of thing. So like a bent over movement, chest supported. But what I've noticed is this is very similar movement, same movement pattern, and I just feel like I can get a lot more locked into this, and I just feel a lot more stable. And the good thing about this T-bar row is you can actually lower the arms so you can isolate more lats. Right. Usual theme, 2 sets of 8 to 10. Perfect. I'd absolutely love to do a bit of a barbell row, but at this point in prep, it just becomes that much of a full body movement, especially if you lift heavy, that I just find it so hard to isolate your lats, isolate your back. And it's just one of them where it takes it out for you. And the risk reward factor just isn't worth it at this point in prep, man. And another reason why I don't do it is a few years ago I slipped a disc in my back. I had a dodgy jab in my glute, and I deadlifted. I think I was deadlifting 5-6 plates a side. That weight used to move up so easy for like 8, 9, 10 reps. I remember I did my 5th rep and it just went. Fuck, man, I think I were crippled for months. But what can you do? Stuff like that happens. You've got to find a way to work around it, man. Otherwise you end up in bed feeling sorry for yourself, waiting for an operation, living on diazepam. But no, that's not me. That's not me. Right. Second set of these. Same again, a little bit like this time. Let's go. Right, another one this, where I can get super locked in, light up the back. 2 sets, 8 to 12. Let's get it. Bit lighter, same again. Finish back with some rear delts. Awkward eye contact. Felt good that weight. Never set on that. Like I said, smaller body parts recover faster. Rear delts. Not as demanding on the nervous system. Back's lit up today, man. 6th session. I love it when training's like this. Even at dog ender prep, training's still good. Let's do 2 sets. 2 sets, 10 to 12. You can go low as 8, but I'm going to try and stay above 10 on these. I'm going to go for quality over everything. Ten where I struggle then, man. I'm going like I want to get some better quality reps out. Execution is everything. Obviously you want to progress the load, get more weight, get more reps, but ultimately execution is everything. It's not necessarily about what you do, it's about how you do it. You can do all the frequency you want, all the volume you want, but at the end of the day, execution is what's going to make the muscle grow. Guy's got his ass out. Right, if I can just get 1 6 set on here, I'm happy. Done. Let's go check out the pump. Right, let's check this out. Double bicep. I'll tell you what, the pump's there. Epic session today. Job done. I don't think any more needs to be said. Post-workout, home time.